We talk about the continuity of life all the time, and I really do like talking about it because it is absolutely true. That song I picked out several weeks ago because, unlike me, Bob is very organized, and he wants his songs way in advance because he's doing all this sort of stuff. I mean, he teaches, he has bands, he's traveling and doing all these gigs throughout the whole planet. And so he needs these songs. And knowing that Dr. Laura was not feeling that good, I said, it'd be great to have She Loves the Beatles. And so I just happened to pick that song. So this past week, I had to do a job. I do sandblasting, if for those of you who don't know me. It's a very dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. But I have to wake up super early in the morning because the storefronts need to open up at 9 o'clock, but what I do is so messy, so I decided I'll wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, get out of the house. I'll have to go get my sand and my supplies and stuff like that, so I'm up while it's completely dark. And so I get the opportunity to see the sunrise. And I just thought about that, and I created this talk. And so here we go. There are moments in life when words feel small, moments when the intellect reaches its edge, and the heart steps forward instead. Dr. Laura is known as the Reverend of Love. That's what she always talks about. She always has hearts everywhere. She always wore a heart. And it amazes me that I've been doing this philosophy for over 20 years. It still amazes me as how spot on it is in every aspect of my life. Because I can only see life through my eyes and through my experiences. But I see that continuity going everywhere. Ernest Holmes reminds us again and again that spirit is not afraid of what the human personality fears. That life itself is not confined by transition. And there we go. No fear. There may be sadness in this room, but there's also, like Mimi said, gratitude. To have such a wonderful, irreverent reverend be our teacher for so many years, through classes, through the understudy of Dr. Joe, and then coming into her own and seeing that flower, that possibility happen every single week, every single day during her book studies. It truly is amazing at really how being a giving person you shall receive. And as I became that giving person, I now understand that type of concept, where before it didn't make sense to me. Life is eternal. Consciousness is continuous. Being is uninterrupted. It's funny how I don't get emotional down there, but as soon as I come up here, I've got to learn how to breathe again. But the way that I look at transition is, and I've told this to a few people, is I view it as Dr. Laura moved to a faraway country that had no cell phones, no telephones, and no mail. She's still there. I miss her, but she's just someplace else. And that's the beautiful thing about this philosophy, that we don't believe in death we don't believe in death, period. We believe in transition. That the spirit within this body is everlasting. And so this body is just a shell. And so by seeing it as that, I can view it as she's just gone to another continent, or better yet, another reality of life. because there is a continuity of life, because Spirit is ever growing, ever changing, omnipotent. And since we are the action of Spirit, there is no ending to us. There may be a change of this body, but not the spiritual consciousness, not the heart, and not the love. So my talk title is Between Sunrise and Sunset. That drive I had, and seeing the sunrise, and that's a photo that I took on the top. I realized when you talk about a sunrise or sunset, there's no difference. You just see the sun coming up over the horizon. It's beautiful, it's peaceful, but one's a sunrise and one's a sunset. And if I were to switch those photographs, you would be none the wiser, because all it is a transition of light and experience. And so that song that I chose, it just hit me yesterday. I'm talking about sunrises and sunsets. Every day the sun rises and every day it sets. We are reminded of the faithful rhythm of life. And just as the sun rises and sets without fail, so does Spirit expressing through us. Yes, we may be here now, but just know that that love and that life is ongoing. And so let's find out how the analogy of sunrises and sunset, how can that be applied to my life now? How can it be applied to your life? Because one of the things I love to do is I love to teach through analogies, so that every day when we're walking and we're living our life, because we are in alignment here on Sunday morning, but each of us goes our own separate way, and we have our own lives, how we deal with traffic, how we deal with our significant others, how we deal with our pets, and the list goes on. But we each have our own life to live. So let's talk about sunrise. Sunrise represents possibilities. Darkness gives way to the light, and Spirit expresses without condition. Just like in the morning, there's a new day. What happened yesterday has no bearing on what we do today. So as you wake up in the morning, and so as you wake up tomorrow morning on that new day, just know there's no conditions. The possibilities are there. Spirit is there with you, waiting for us to place our demands upon what we want to experience. And Spirit says yes, pressed down and flowing over. The morning, after our first cup of coffee maybe, or tea. The morning represents a time of innocence. Thought is creative and our intention matters. The law reflects what we plant. Allow yourself to be creative. Say yes to that innate desire that you may want to do. Whether it be making quilts, whether it's going to be cooking on a grill this afternoon, or whether it's just finding peace in your own body, in your own mind. What if it's just finding peace with that long-lost friend? Put down the burden. Allow change to happen. The law reflects what we plant, meaning our thoughts, our intentions, what we place, what we focus on become reality because Spirit always says yes. And through the law, reality happens. Things come into our lives. That aha moment, and life unfolds perfectly. Now, today, that may be a hard one to take hold of, that life is unfolding perfectly. This is where our ego comes into play. Because we may have thought that we've lost a friend, and so we don't want that to happen for selfish reasons. But that's okay. Spirit unfolds naturally, perfectly. I'll say it again, perfectly. But it operates by means of us, by how we move and interact and deal with this reality. And then we have midday. Let's find out what's happening there. Midday represents living fully. Work, love, responsibilities. Life is not happening to us, but through us. Be present in the moment when life is chaotic. Life happens all the time. And because there's billions upon billions of people here on this planet, there's an infinite amount of possibilities of interactions between one another. Let's focus on love. Let's focus on kindness. Regardless of what that other person may feel or do, or what country they live in, or county, or the next door neighbor, when we can live in that love, like Dr. Laura talks about all the time, when we can live in that energy, that is what is most present in ourselves. And it allows us to flow easily and effortlessly through the day. There's no turmoil within ourselves. And the reason is because Spirit is everywhere. That divine Spirit is inside of me. And when I am acting unlike the natural laws of life, which I have the ability to do because I have free will, there's a discord. My frequency in myself is no longer harmonious. I need to get back in line with Spirit, back in line with that frequency of divine love. So just sit with that peace and that love that Dr. Laura talks about. And allow that peace and love to come up within you. And allow that peace and love to inspire you to something greater, to something new. Through this transition, you may have now a great idea that you may have had buried in yourself, but now comes alive because now you're going through this transition. Allow this transition to be creative. Awaken something inside of you, and awaken something inside of me. And then we have the afternoon. It's not even lunchtime. Shadows return. Not because light fails, but because of perspective. Regrets, doubts are signs of depth, not failure. Through our experiences and understanding, wisdom is created. I'm talking about just a day here. But are you starting to see a pattern of life within yourself? The morning and now the afternoon. Shadows. When the sun is at that angle and you start seeing the shadows of trees. But when it was right above you, there was no shadows per se. Everything was clear. Everything was lit. But now as the day progresses, there may be shadows. Those shadows aren't regrets. Those shadows are the experience which allows wisdom to be created, to be built upon. because we have those life experiences that give us the ability not only to help ourselves, but to help others. Because I had to go through that time of shadows within myself. And like every day, there's a shadow that's happening. And through this philosophy of peace, love, and understanding, knowing the continuity of life, spirit to human to unlimited possibilities, I allow those shadows just to change and move, but I'm unaffected by them. Through our experiences and understanding, wisdom is created. So today, this experience, what wisdom are you finding? What wisdom is there a possibility of understanding? That's something I'm willing to explore and to find out. Allow this time to be a time to awaken that desire to live an expectant life. There's no drowning of sorrows here. Yes, there is reverence and honor and respect and memories, but allow all of that to cultivate us, again, into that alignment of spirit, so that no matter what happens, we know life is unfolding perfectly. I may not understand it, but I don't need to, because I have faith. Because time and time again, Spirit has proven itself to me in everyday life. I know that Spirit is there, and through right, conscious living, I'm going to be okay. And better yet, how about through my consciousness, I'll be better than okay. I don't have to just squeak by. You don't have to just squeak by. Live that abundant life, whatever it is for you. Allow this transition to be a transition for each and every one of us to live that life that may have been buried. We plant the seed, like the previous slide. Allow it to germinate. Allow that plant of an expectant life to grow and prosper and fruit, so that we can enjoy this life with all of its diversity. And now sunset. Sunsets represent fulfillment, not loss. Life is eternal. Expression changes, but the consciousness continues. Sunsets remind us of gratitude for all that was lived. When we can live in that gratitude, we can go through, like Dr. Tom would say, I go through the valley of the shadow of death. I won't build a condo. There's no reason to build a condo here. Yes, it's an experience. Great. Take it and put it into your tool bag of life. Allow this moment to be a teaching moment, not only for ourselves to teach us how to live this life and to go on, but to be teachers to others. Because each and every one of us are a teacher to someone else. You may not know the student. You may have never seen the student. But teaching moments are there at every turn. From a drive at 5 o'clock in the morning to a midnight train to Georgia. I love that. Sunsets represent fulfillment. Yes, we may say that transition came way too early. Hell, You could be 150 and someone's going to say that transition came too early. But what fulfillment, what lessons have we learned? Such gratitude when we can live in that. And yes, shed a tear here and a tear there. But by honoring what she taught us, we now have the torch in our hands, just like the Olympics, and we pass it on to someone else. So the journey of light-fulfilled living and right consciousness living is passed on to those that we've never seen. Living the day consciously. Greet the sunrise with intention. Meet the midday with courage. Honor the afternoon with wisdom, and welcome the sunset with peace. We love you.